inside these walls in Huntsville, Alabama. And here, just outside of Cape Canaveral, Florida, a not-so-top-secret organization is taking America by storm. Space Camp, the training ground for astronauts of tomorrow. But what do we really know about this spaced-out institution? Is it the future? Is it the key to reaching the stars? Or is it just 5 totally awesome days away from Mom and Dad? We'll uncover the truth in the next exciting half hour. Space Camp, the inside scoop, with anchorman David Binkley.
Good day, and welcome to another edition of Inside Scoop, the hard-hitting investigative news program that finds out what kids want to know. Today, Space Camp. In 1982, it was established with only a handful of participants. Today, attendance has skyrocketed. What is this fascination that draws kids from all of our 50 states to participate in a learning experience? Something unexplainable is going on here. Let's take a quick look.
Space Camp. Space Camp. Space Camp.
Wow, it sure looks like fun to me, but there must be more to this than meets the eye. We'll get to the bottom of this cosmic question mark when we return with Space Camp, the inside scoop. Welcome back as Inside Scoop begins its special report on Space Camp. What is it? How does it work? And what happens to all those kids? To find out, Inside Scoop has sent 9-year-old investigative reporter Ben Crawford to Huntsville, Alabama, the home of Space Camp. Ben?
David, this is Ben Crawford on the scene at Huntsville, Alabama. We are here to get the inside scoop about the exciting training ground for tomorrow's astronauts. Assuming the disguise of an ordinary young child with interest in computer and aerospace technology, I'm going to register here at Space Camp. Wish me luck. Follow me.
Ben will attempt to infiltrate the ranks of this so-called fun learning experience and expose its true nature to you, the viewing audience.
Hello, I'm an ordinary young child here to attend Space Camp.
Well, that's no problem at all. I'll just process this, and you can go get set. I just have one question for you. Who are they?
Don't worry about them. They're with me. David, this is Ben in Space Camp habitat. I need to get some rest now because tomorrow starts our astronaut training. That's all for now. Good night, guys.
Good night, Ben.
Now that's a dedicated crew. What do you suppose this astronaut training is all about? For the answer, let's examine what we already know about space travel.
In outer space, astronauts must experience many unusual physical conditions. They must deal with being weightless. They must learn to maneuver in bulky protective suits. And they must use complicated equipment in order to do their work. Training in specially designed simulators has always been the first step in preparing for a trip into space. Simulators like the microgravity chair, which simulates 1/6 gravity for the sensation of walking on the surface of the moon. The 5DF, or 5 degrees of freedom used to practice spacewalks. The maneuvering pod allows you to float on a column of air 30 feet high. And the granddaddy of them all, the multi-axis, which spins you 3 different directions at one time. It may sound hard, it may sound tough, but if you ask me, it sounds like a whole lot of fun.
Can I do that again? Well, David, it's obvious that these simulators have some kid appeal, but it's not just all fun and games here at Space Camp. Now it's time to really get to work.
Inside Scoop has discovered that at Space Camp, science and math can be fun. In various workshops and study groups, trainees learn the principles of rocketry, propulsion, space science, and the history of space exploration. Not only that, but you get to hear from experts, like people from NASA, and the rocket scientists who put man on the moon. And hey, older kids get to study about aerospace engineering and can even earn a freshman college credit.
Now, some of you may be thinking that all of this history, science, and math stuff sounds like all work and no play. Well, don't worry. Our Inside Scoop reports show that at Space Camp, learning is strictly hands-on.
Well, I haven't found anything here on the moon except for some really neat rocks. But I overheard some older high school kids talking about going for a walk in space. Something about getting their feet wet.
Here on Earth, you can't really float in the air. But there is a place where you can get almost the same feeling, in water. At Space Camp, older kids get to train just like the astronauts in the UAT, or Underwater Astronaut Trainer, filled with over 120,000 gallons of water. In simulated spacewalk conditions, trainees build a 3-sided pyramid, practice emergency procedures, and other tasks to prepare for a trip into space.
Well, so far we've learned that Space Camp is a fun-filled, hands-on learning experience that kids really enjoy. But that's exactly what they say they are. And that's not good enough for the Inside Scoop. Ben, I know there's a bigger story here. I want you to dig deeper, push harder, sneak sneakier. But whatever you do, don't get caught.
Well, you heard it. We've got to go down deeper undercover and find the story behind the story. Come on.
Oh, who goes there? This area is off limits to unauthorized personnel. Identify yourself.
I'm an ordinary trainee here at Space Camp who seems to be lost.
No, you're not. You're investigative reporter Ben Crawford for Inside Scoop.
How do you know?
It's one of my favorite TV shows. You're my hero.
Really?
Oh, you bet. My name is Jinx. Do you think I could be a reporter and help with your story?
Well, maybe. What can you do?
All kinds of things, but mostly I like to boogie. boogie.
Boogie?
Yeah, I feel the beat and move my feet. Boy, are my circuits hot today.
Space, space,
Whoa, moonwalk. Come on, Ben, get down.
Well, I'm glad somebody's taking their job seriously. But don't worry, the Inside Scoop will find out the story behind the story. Reporter Ben Crawford blasts off on his own shuttle mission. And we'll even hear from the President of the United States when we return with more of Space Camp, the Inside Scoop. Welcome back, Scoopsters, to part 2 of our special report. As you recall, in the first half of the program, we sent Inside Scoop investigative reporter Ben Crawford to register as an ordinary trainee at Space Camp.
David, I've got an inside scoop for all those kids out there, and it's been right here in front of my nose. Along with Space Camp, trainees get to visit the Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville, Alabama. There's a museum filled with neat stuff from outer space. They have all these rockets from the early space program, including the Saturn V that took the first men to the moon. In the Space Dome Theater, you can watch the coolest movie on the space shuttle in the biggest screen you ever saw. Then hang on, because it's time to feel some of the G-force that the astronauts go through during liftoff in a centrifuge that whirls you around and around. And they've even got some of the craziest swings that you've ever seen called spacewalkers. How's that for an inside scoop, David?
Well, that's pretty good, Ben. Gee, it looks like you're really starting to enjoy this assignment.
You bet I am! And I've got a double scoop for you! At Space Camp, you also get to go on a tour of the Redstone rocket test site where Dr. Werner von Braun developed the very first space rocket. Then it's on to the Marshall Space Flight Center, NASA's largest research facility, where they test all those big rockets for the space program. Huntsville even has its own mission control. You can see a giant version of the UAT with over 1 million gallons of water. Visit the Payload Crew Training Center, and if you're lucky, you might see some real astronauts preparing for the latest missions. Then, get a look at the future as America's space station Freedom takes shape. As far as tours go, this one's out of this world.
Gee, that's just great, Ben. I'm really happy that you're having such a good time. I'm having a great time here in this studio. I suppose you've got more fun news, too.
As a matter of fact, David, I've got a triple scoop for you. There's a brand new space camp in Florida. Just outside of the Kennedy Space Center is a new home of Space Camp. Now kids from all over the country can get the same incredible experience as the kids from Alabama, plus a few special surprises of their own. Right next to Space Camp is something brand new and exciting, the Astronauts Hall of Fame. Here, you get to come face to face with some real American heroes, the 7 original Mercury astronauts. These were the first men to risk their lives strapped onto the top of a roaring rocket. Men like Shepard, Glenn, and Schra. Can you imagine what it was really like flying in those early rockets?
Lots of grates fired, okay. Roger, 7. You have a go. At least 7 orbits. Oh, that view is tremendous.
Space Camp Florida and the Astronauts Hall of Fame. Another exciting inside scoop.
Boy, Ben, there's just no stopping you, is there? Don't get me wrong. I'm really glad you're having fun. So I guess that wraps up your story, huh?
No way, David. I've saved the best for last. Now all those kids in Florida get to visit the place where it all comes together. At the Kennedy Space Center, you can see with your own eyes the actual launch site of the space shuttle. There's lots of neat exhibits that tell the story of NASA's space programs and displays of the latest high-tech space hardware. Who knows? You might even get to see a real shuttle launch. And don't stop me now, David, because I've got the biggest scoop of all. Space Camp is offering an all-new program for older kids interested in becoming high be jet pilots. Aviation Challenge is a high school age program that puts kids through the same skills and drills of real jet pilot training. You get to use flight simulators, practice in land and water survival areas, and go on an exciting mission to see the real Top Gun.
Well, Ben, what can I say? I'm overwhelmed. You've given a marvelous report. But marvelous just isn't good enough for Inside Scoop. We've learned that the culmination of Space Camp is a simulated shuttle mission. Ben, when that shuttle takes off, you're going to be on it. I want you to go where no reporter has gone before.
Mission Control, Houston. And all positions have given a go for launch. This is Mission Control.
Tracking is go. Orbiter systems are go. Launch systems are go.
T-minus 11, 10. We have a go for main engine start.
4, 3, 2, 1.
We have SRB ignition and we have liftoff.
Columbia, you have cleared the tower. Roger, starting roll program.
Mission Control confirms roll maneuver. Engines running at 65%. Velocity 2,400 feet per second.
Columbia, Houston, you're looking good. Stand by for booster separation.
SRB separating. Velocity now 20,000 feet per second. Altitude 59 nautical miles. Downrange distance 515 nautical miles.
Middeck power and ready to go to work.
Okay, I'm going to leave the lacrosse stick. Cut it up. Bring it to size water. All right. Got up my waste cutter from the PRD now. Job out of the FRD. So as long as the hooks are on there. Oh. Here we go.
Roger, Houston, we hear you loud and clear. Columbia, you are looking good for a normal landing.
45. Gear down and locked. Touchdown.
Mission accomplished. Well, folks, it's on to our final exciting day here at Space Camp, graduation.
After 5 days of grueling fun and excitement, the trainees at Space Camp receive honors for their dedication and hard work.
I'm standing here in line at the Space Camp graduation ceremony, awaiting my official diploma. I've just overheard that a special guest speaker is about to make an appearance.
And I'm absolutely convinced that what we're seeing here today, including the education of young Americans looking to the future in terms of science, technology, the emphasis here on space is absolutely vital to our country.
Wow, you just never know who you might see here at Space Camp. Well, this is it. We each get our diploma, and one lucky trainee gets the ultimate honor, the Right Stuff Award. This award goes to the trainee who...
Ben Crawford. Congratulations, Ben. It looks like you definitely have the right stuff.
Yeah!
We'll be right back with important information about all the different programs that Space Camp has to offer and how you can enroll. Ben Crawford will give his final exciting report. And I'll still be here in this boring old studio. See you soon.
Space Camp, the inside scoop. We'll be right back.
We're back, and here with his final update report is Inside Scoop investigative reporter Ben Crawford.
Thank you, David.
Ben, can you try to express to our viewers your feelings about Space Camp?
Well, David, it was terrific, sensational, neat, cool, radical, and totally awesome. Right now, I'd like to tell all those kids out there about all the programs that Space Camp has to offer. First, there's U.S. Space Camp for 4th, 5th, and 6th graders, and even 7th if you're in Florida. Space Academy Level 1 is for 7th, 8th, and 9th graders. Space Academy Level 2 is for 10th, 11th, and 12th graders. Then there's Aviation Challenge for 9th, 10th, and 11th graders. And there's even a space camp program for grown-ups.
Now, wait a minute. Did you say grown-ups? Like me?
Sure, David. Even grown-ups like you get to share in the fun of space camp. And David, I brought you back a special scoop. It's some space ice cream. Why don't you try some, David? David?
You're right. This is totally awesome. This is David Pinkley saying goodbye from Space Camp, the Inside Scoop. Space Camp.